So we are starting with some sad news. Singer Aaron Carter has died at the age of 34. He was also the brother of Backstreet Boys star Nick Carter. TMZ says his housekeeper found him unresponsive in a bathtub on Saturday. By the time paramedics arrived, he had already passed away. Aaron, of course, rose to fame in the 90s when he was just 9 years old. And in September, he checked himself into rehab for drug addiction after losing custody of his infant son. Now on Instagram, Nick Carter shared photos of the two, writing that even though they had a complicated relationship, his love for him never ever faded. And on Sunday, the Backstreet Boys comforted Nick while paying tribute to Aaron during a concert. So young. And you know, Erica, one thing that many people probably can relate to when they see what Nick Carter wrote is, how do you grieve a complicated relationship?
Yeah, especially when there's substance abuse involved, and how do you properly memorialize a person who struggled with addiction? We have to talk about it in terms of what it is, and it is a struggle, and it is an illness, it's a sickness. And for those of us who have lost people to addiction, it's a complicated thing. So the idea that it's his brother, like, especially when it's your sibling, I feel like it hits you even more differently because you were raised together. Yeah. I don't know. I've dealt with this, so like I just feel bad for everyone involved.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's in the movies, when you look at a relationship, you see somebody get young, grow old together, and they have these wonderful memories. But really what life is, and especially the things that attack you later in life, like dementia, things that might happen in the middle of your life, like alcoholism, those years might be marked with, you know, the person you love most not remembering who you are, insulting you, people with substance abuse issues stealing from you, committing violent acts against you, and you can rationalize it's a sickness, it's not them. But as human beings, it's hard, Lindsay. So I don't know how people, you know, maybe there's some help, but it's very hard for a lot of people to rationalize this person that they love that has been the source of so much pain, and then that pain just ends. And how do you juggle with that? How do you wrestle with that?
And you want to assume that you give his whole family and everybody surrounding him the benefit of the doubt that they really tried. And it's probably, like Erica was saying, super hard to try to get somebody you love to do what you want them to do, even though they're struggling with this addiction. But, you know, I just feel sad about the situation, and I also just think about Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina with the circumstance surrounding their death, and thought about how come some of these celebrities can't be more surrounded by people who can catch them before they get to that point. And I know that's easier said than done, but it just made me sad to think about how many celebrities we lost in a similar way. Yeah,
well, our thoughts and prayers are definitely with his family. So over the weekend, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted some unlikely rock stars. Lionel Richie finally earned a spot. He performed Easy with Dave Grohl on stage, and during his speech, he said it was a good thing the hall was expanding its parameters for rock music. Rapper Eminem also pointed out that he's not a traditional rocker. He also credited his music for saving his life. 80s band Duran Duran finally got inducted after being rejected for 17 years, and country singer Dolly Parton, who performed Jolene, initially rejected her nomination because she didn't think she was rock and roll enough. Watch.
I'm sure a lot of you knew that back when they said they were going to put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I didn't really feel like I had done enough to deserve that. And I didn't understand at the time that it's about a little more than that. But I'm just honored and so proud to be here tonight.
Dolly also said that she plans to come out with an actual rock and roll album soon. Yes, Dolly, Jeff, what do you think?
I think she changed her mind pretty quickly on that nomination, huh? She took a year out. It reminds me of that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode when Larry David puts Larry David on the wall and Ted Danson puts Anonymous. And then everyone knows it's Ted Danson, but he was so cool as Anonymous. That was Dolly. I'm not going to get in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 1 year later. I'm happy to accept this award. And I'm going to come out with a rock and roll album. But yeah, I think Erica and I were talking about this earlier. I think there's only so many people you could put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so they have to, you know, go to different genres. Like Lionel Richie, I mean, if you're going to put somebody in there, Lionel's the man.
Oh, Lionel, I love me some Lionel.
I know.
I have spent hours with Lionel, and those are the best hours of my life.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to give Erica some time. Commercial break.
Was it easy like Sunday morning?
I've also spent spend a couple hours with Duran Duran. See, here's the thing about
There's some years of your life we can't account for.
Here's the thing about the artists who are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These are artists who are the fiber of music, and these people understood the importance of radio and the relationship between their plays and the people who were on the radio and them as artists, and there was always the utmost respect. So as a former radio girl, that was really my pathway into understanding first the history of music, but also just sitting there and listening to people speak because you're so honored by their presence. But much to Jeff's point about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has superseded the actual genre of rock and roll, and that's the reason why we're seeing all of these diverse talents being inducted into it. But Duran Duran, it took 17 years.
I know.
That was crazy. I think it's important to understand the origin of rock and roll. You know, like Sam Cooke, a lot of black people, that it came from blues and R&B genre, and so we need to remember that when we're opening up the door for who should be allowed in, like letting Jay-Z in last year or Lionel Richie, like these people are rock and roll more than the metal rock that we talk about that is rock and roll. And so I love to see it, and I'm glad that we're opening up to what it actually is and affecting people who directly impacted the culture in major ways.
So it's a great point.
Are we not going to talk about hours with Lionel Richie?
No, we're supposed to leave that be.
Commercial break.
We're going to get him on the show and play that clip.
It's okay. It's okay. I love you, Lionel. Love you.
All right, so Selena Gomez is clarifying a comment she recently made to Rolling Stone magazine. During the interview, Selena said she considered Taylor Swift her quote-unquote only friend in the industry. Now, after that quote was shared on Instagram, Selena's friend, Francha Reja, who is an actress, commented with, quote, interesting. So Francha has been friends with Selena for over a decade and even donated a kidney to her 5 years ago. Now, in response to all the drama, Selena has since commented, quote unquote, sorry I didn't mention everyone I know.
Everyone?
Yeah,
the person
like
gave you a kidney? I would think they get mentioned before I did my drive-through order. I'd be like, shout out to Jeff Schroeder. I want the number 6. Like, I cannot believe she forgot to mention her.
Maybe she just meant the music industry in general.
That's what it sounds like. And I watched Me and My Brain, or Myself, My Brain. It's Selena's new documentary. I think it's on Apple TV.
Okay.
I just watched that last night, and she is very open about her bipolar diagnosis, what's been happening in her brain, how it affects her moods and like her responses. She wants to take some time away from the industry. I think that's probably a really great idea. So I think it was probably a lot coming at her between that article being dropped, the actual documentary being dropped, and then she hasn't been on social media truly in years. So I'm not going to read too much into this.
What do you think?
I will. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know, the clapback after someone gives you a kidney, you know what I mean? I don't know if my response would be, well, sorry, I didn't mention everybody. I don't know if I would write that. You know what I mean? You gave me a kidney, I'd be like, you know you're my sister, I love you forever. You know what I mean? I'm talking specifically about the industry and the heartbreak I felt in that.
Agreed, but maybe Selena clapped back that way because she didn't like that her friend so passively, aggressively, publicly wrote interesting instead of calling her and being like, hey, this hurt my feelings.
I'm sure you're right, too.
I don't like that type of behavior. If you have an issue, then let's talk about it, let's work it out. Don't do these weird coded messages.
But I'm just trying to figure out, like who, like, side I'm on, because on the one side, if I give somebody my kidney, it's like we're really good friends, and so I would just call up my really good friend and say, you offended me, and let's talk this out because I want to continue to be friends with you. But on the other hand, it's like, you don't give someone a kidney or do something nice for someone expecting that they're always going to praise you for the rest of their life.
Speak
I know
for
a kidney.
Speak for yourself.
I'm just saying, I would. It's almost like even goes down to $1, right? So you lend people money, you don't really have it to spare. You're mad for weeks over the fact that they didn't pay you back yet. So I always keep that mentality. If I have it to spare, whether it's my time, my money, whatever it is, my kidney, then I'm going to give it to you not expecting anything, and hopefully you'll just be a good person.
I would have just wrote kidney.
Especially when it comes to like a kidney, that's something totally different. But I do agree, you should never audit what you're doing for someone else. But also in return, that person should never disrespect you. And that's really
publicly.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Was she disrespecting her if she was just talking in the music genre, like you were saying? Like she was talking about in music, I think. I didn't get a chance to watch the documentary, so I'm just trying to figure out if they should just call each other and talk.
And also, I hope they do.
Would a real friend do that on the internet? Like if Jeff gave me his kidney and I did that same interview, I think Jeff would send me a screenshot of it like, we're not cool. Like it would be joking but like when you put it on the internet, now Daily Blast Live is talking about it, and I think there's something else there. I think when you put that on the internet with somebody who's got as many followers as anybody on the planet, you know it's going to lead to some fallout. So I don't know. I think there was something else going on there.
Yeah, I think if you just write kidney but a question mark, like if you did that for me, that'd be funny, right? That'd be funny.
Hashtag, yeah.
No, I mean even. It looks like someone in a control room. I gave them my kidney, or vice versa. I don't know.